My name is Leah Huggins. I'm a wife, a mother, and a proud U.S. Navy veteran. After 2 tours to Iraq, my husband was diagnosed with PTSD. My world spiraled out of control as fear, anxiety, doubt, and depression took over. I gave my life to Christ, took on a new mindset, and let go of the negativity of my past. I now help wives to find healing, encouragement, and strategy to overcome the effects of PTSD on their daily lives and in their marriage. So come on in and let's talk about it. Welcome to Marriage, Motherhood, and PTSD. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marriage, Motherhood, and PTSD. This is the place where we empower women to support their spouse through PTSD without losing themselves in the process. And we support each other too. I'm your host, Coach Leah, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. So today, y'all, we have a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about life after divorce, how to navigate your way through life after the marriage ends. So you all know that the purpose of this show is to support marriage, but first and foremost, it's to support women. The reality is that divorce is a real thing. It's so much more common nowadays. So I did some research and I found that the percentage of divorce in America, the rate as of 2024, the rates are alarming, okay? First of all, estimates show that 41% of marriages, first-time marriages, they end in divorce, 60% of second-time marriages, and 73% for third-time marriages. And even more so, the divorce rate among couples where one partner has PTSD is about 70%. So we are living in a time where divorce has become the norm. There's a million reasons why divorce can happen, but here are a few of the main reasons. First of all, there's poor communication, money problems, infidelity or even lack of intimacy, substance abuse, and even domestic violence. So those are just a few of the big ones. And of course, there's plenty more. Studies also show that women are more negatively affected by divorce because they may struggle with a decline in income, they got childcare or custody issues, and also the mental anguish that comes with choosing to leave a marriage. So my goal today is to pour into the women that are going through it or that may be considering whether or not that's the path that they want to go down. So I have a special guest in the building today. I cannot wait for you to hear her story. To me, she is a testament to what can happen when you just step back and allow God to do his thing in your life, right? So she is a mother, she is a Navy veteran, and she's a self-made entrepreneur, y'all. All right. She's the owner, the visionary, and the head stylist of the BUT Bar in Gulfport, Mississippi. And on top of that, she is an amazing friend and an even better cook, okay? Because she ain't playing when it comes to that gumbo and dirty rice, right? And the cornbread dressing. I'm just saying, all right? Y'all help me welcome Miss Nickeia Baptiste. Yay!
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Yes, Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so excited to have you on here. Thank you so much for coming to spend some time and hang with us today. So tell the people a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? Tell them about yourself.
Okay, so I am from New Orleans, Louisiana, but I've lived in Gulfport for a long, long time. So you could say I'm still from Mississippi, I would guess. Um,
Mississippi
but
adjacent.
Mississippi adjacent.
Right.
I'm also a hairstylist. I've been doing hair since I was a young girl, but I took it serious when I got out the Navy, and I've been doing it ever since. Owned my own shop, owned a couple of shops. Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So without giving the people all the details, because I kind of want to
Mm,
go into this story a little bit later in the
okay.
interview, tell us about I'm going to say it right. Tell us
The
about
beauty,
the
the beauty
beauty
bar.
bar. So let me explain why I'm having
Mm,
trouble saying it. So she spells it
mhm.
BEUYOUTY. BUT, beauty bar. And I love that. I love that because, first of all, it gives me confidence in just the name,
Mhm.
BUT bar.
Absolutely.
So, as I was saying, tell us about the beauty bar and the services and the products that you provide there.
So I am a full service salon. I offer all pretty much anything that you can ask for, I offer, but I specialize in natural hair. I also have my own product line called Crown Beauty Hair Care,
Come on,
where I
Crown
have
Beauty.
two different shampoos, some conditioner, anything that you would need to get your hair together. But yeah, we are a full service salon.
Listen, those drops, what's the name
Mhm.
of them drops? I love those drops. It's my favorite product of hers. There's drops, I use them. I have natural hair as well too, and I use it for my scalp and when I do my twist outs, and it's thebomb.com. So, shameless plug right there.
Shameless plug. And listen, I wish I had a little bottle to go ahead and show you, but it's called the Let It Grow Drops.
Let it grow drops. Thank you. I just know I have to call her and say, ma'am, do you have any more of them drops
And
available?
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. So listen, this woman has the fastest hands this side of the Mason Dixon line, okay? Because
Okay.
I have never seen anyone braid as fast as she does. She does excellent work, and I've been her client for years. So if you come to the beauty bar, then you are in good hands. I'm gonna say it right. The beauty bar. If you come to the beauty bar, you are in good hands. So how did you get? Okay, this is again without us getting all
Mhm,
into the details because
mhm,
there's something special and there's a reason why I'm saying don't tell all the details because this is a part of
mhm,
your story, your testimony that I absolutely
mhm,
love. But tell us how you actually got started doing here. I know you said you wanted to do it, you've been doing here since you were young. But tell them
mm.
how you actually got started in doing it.
Well, I grew up in a single parent household. My dad raised me and my sister, so I had to learn how to do hair. So I ended up doing her hair, my hair. That turned into me doing everybody's hair in the neighborhood. I started braiding everybody's hair in the neighborhood. And then it
Yeah.
kinda progressed from there, from a little girl growing up to having to figure out how to do her and her sister's hair to doing all the kids in the neighborhood's hair. Then it just kept progressing. I actually tried to put it down for a little while, but God knew something bigger was coming because He would not let me put it down.
Come on now. Amen.
Mhm.
Amen. And that story is to be continued later
Mhm.
on. So I want to go ahead on and get to the topic today.
Mhm.
I thought that you would be the perfect person to talk with about this
Mhm.
subject, because I've seen your journey.
Mhm.
I watched you pick up the pieces and keep moving with your three girls in tow. I
Mhm.
remember, I remember you working at Waffle House. How about that? Waffle
Yeah,
House and
oh.
Penny's. you
That's when
know,
I first got started.
Yes, yes. And, you did it, of course, as every good mom does to make sure that
Mhm.
you could take care of yourself and the kids.
Right, right.
And to see where you are today, this successful, smart businesswoman that you've
Mhm.
become, I'm so proud of you. And I just want to tell you that
Thank
as your
you.
friend, as your client, as your sister, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So, yes, ma'am. So, I want you to take us back. Tell us a
Okay.
little bit about your marriage. Like,
Mhm.
where did you all meet? How long were you together before you
Mhm.
married? And how long were you married?
Ooh, so I was already in the Navy. He came in the Navy. We met because we were both cooks in the Navy. So it wasn't a traditional marriage. We dated for a little while, broke up a bunch, dated some more,
That sounds
and then
traditional to me.
right. I got pregnant with my baby girl. He came back
Mhm.
off deployment and we got married. We had a small wedding, but we got married. Um, it's hard to remember how I don't actually remember how long we were married. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's all right. That's all
Yeah, I'm gonna say I
yeah.
really don't remember how long. It was a long time ago, but I don't remember exactly how long we were married.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Mhm.
So at the beginning of the show,
Mhm.
I gave a list of some of the common things that couples struggle with.
Mhm.
So what did you find, you know, contributed to the breakdown in the
Mhm.
relationship? Was it something in that list?
So before I say on his part, I'll
Mhm.
say on my part because this is
Yes.
something that I share with my friends. Back then, I didn't know who I was.
Oh, that's so
And
important.
my idea of what I thought marriage was supposed to be, I had it completely wrong. I thought if I cooked, if I cleaned, then that was enough. And I was good at both of those things. So I was like, what else does it take to be a wife? But
Yes.
what I thought was completely wrong. So there was infidelity in our marriage on his part. And I won't say that was a complete breakdown, but I feel like neither one of us created a space for each other. I feel like we were both young. I mean, granted, he had been married before, but I feel like at that time, I was more selfish. I wanted what I wanted. And if he couldn't give me what I wanted, I was very much so loud and wrong most of the time, argumentative
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And something I told my one of my friends the other day, I almost felt like I was in competition with him because he was also a cook, and I just felt like I couldn't do right in his eyes. So I'm like, I literally felt like I was in competition with him. So
Mm.
yes, there was infidelity, and I can't say what broke down the marriage on his part, but I know for me, I wasn't my best self in that marriage.
I love that you brought up that point because
Mhm,
a lot of people say marriage is, you give 50%, they give
mhm,
50%, and that's not the case. Everybody
mhm,
needs to give their all.
mhm,
We're all individual persons. We're all individual people. So that's a very good point that you said that
mhm,
you were not your best self at that time.
mhm,
So the issues that you all were having in your marriage,
mhm.
how did that affect you, like mentally, emotionally, physically? And did it have an effect on your other relationships?
Well, for a long time after I got divorced, because back then I couldn't say that, oh, I played a part in it too. I felt like everything was his fault, which was
Mhm.
not true.
Mhm.
So it made me look at relationships differently. Like I didn't want to be in a relationship again. I pretty much was having fun. And anybody that I met, I'm like, well, let's just have fun because I don't want to be in a
Mhm.
relationship. I didn't even want to get married again because I
Yeah.
felt like it just negatively affected me, it negatively affected my girls. I didn't even trust people around me, I didn't trust friends around me. So, even though I wasn't my best self in that marriage, the one thing that was the breaking point for me was he ended up sleeping with my maid of honor,
Mm.
right? And she was also a close friend of mine.
Mhm.
So, for that reason alone, like, I didn't trust females, I didn't trust anybody, I didn't wanna get married again, I almost didn't wanna have friends again, so
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a real thing. That's a real
Mhm,
thing. You
mm,
absolutely have trust issues because you
mhm,
think if somebody's so close to you and they
absolutely.
betray you in that way, how can you trust anybody else?
Mhm,
And that's a
mhm,
part of healing, that
mhm,
that we need to do ourselves. Yes, anybody that's
mhm,
been betrayed like that, I definitely understand that.
mhm,
And you brought up a point too that made me think of something else.
mhm,
When I was having problems years ago with my husband, when I
mhm,
was having some issues, I used to always pray to God and ask God to change him.
mhm.
I'd be like, Lord, this and this is wrong. And he know that this ain't right. Can you change him? But really, that, what we should be praying for, yes, we should be praying for them, but not necessarily for them to change
Mhm,
them. We need to pray for us to change because
mhm,
regardless if they change or not, we still need to be accountable for ourselves.
absolutely.
Yeah, the prayer should not be changed there. We're changing me, Lord. Get me together, because
Exactly.
sometimes I am not all the way there. I am
R
not all the way there, and I need your
mhm,
help. And in the process of getting ourselves together, and the Lord getting us together, we end up fixing, what
mhm.
the issue was, and sometimes it does fix our relationship, and sometimes it helps us to see that this is not the relationship for us.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
what part of the process did you find the hardest to get through?
So I say all of it because I wasn't just going through a divorce at the time. I was also financially in a bad place. Like I
Mhm.
went through bankruptcy. Like I literally lost everything. My car got repoed. So that I feel like that was the hardest part to deal with. But for me, the hardest part was trying to keep that away from my children and not let them know what was going on because they were little at the time. So for me, I couldn't deal with all of that stuff. I just threw myself into work because I'm like, I can't focus on all of this that's going on right now. I have to focus on these kids that I have. So for years, like I didn't even deal with any of that was going on. It was like none of it even happened because I was so focused on making sure my kids were okay.
Yeah, yeah, and that was gonna be my next question, were
Mm-hmm.
your children affected by it? did you notice any changes in them?
So
Um,
because I think I tried to hide it from them, I don't even know if they would. I know them talking about not wanting to get married.
mm,
I think that came from them listening and seeing all the fussing and stuff that was going on. But as
mm,
far as them not them knowing what was going on with me losing the house and stuff like that, I don't know if they noticed anything. I just remember living in an apartment at one time and my baby asking me, "Well, why do we have to live in this small place like that?"
mm.
So
So looking back, how did you find peace in your situation? Did you have a place where you found peace?
I feel
Uh-oh.
like this part of the story is up because it was hard to do anything. Like, I was super hyper and I think that's one of my downfalls is that I'm super hyper focused, so I don't deal with stuff when it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, me, right? So it was hard to find peace in anything because in my mind, none of it happened.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? And I don't even know if peace is the right word.
Mhm,
Because sometimes you gotta do stuff scared. And like you
mm,
say, it's your mind is set,
mhm,
on what it is that you have to do. So you really don't have time to
mhm.
feel and to, okay, I gotta find my peace now. Sometimes you don't have time
Right.
for that. A lot of women end up staying in relationships that they don't want to be in because
Mhm,
they have a fear of the unknown, and
mhm,
leaving their marriage, like you said, it means leaving security, their security, whether it's financial,
right.
emotional, sexual, let's be real.
Mhm, mhm,
And the choice to leave the marriage is very scary, because everything is on her and
mhm,
she's leaving her safety net. So tell me about, the process and how you navigated through it. As far as getting to a place where you were set and the girls were set.
mhm,
Have you checked out the PTSD Wives Handbook? This book is for the wife whose spouse has survived trauma and is now navigating through mood swings, flashbacks, and mishandled emotions. PTSD can create a toxic home environment and cause a divide in the closest and most meaningful relationships. As a caretaker, the PTSD wife is finding herself at the receiving end of anger, aggression, and constant negativity. This can create a personal, mental, and spiritual health crisis for her. In this book, Coach Leah uncovers the hidden wounds of trauma and the effects that it can have on your relationship. Based on biblical principles, she teaches you the tools and resources that are needed to handle stressful situations and to seek help from the Lord and foster a deeper relationship with Him. By reading this book and putting the principles into action, you're going to learn how to take control of your life and grab hold of the power that lies within. Grab your copy of the PTSD Wives Handbook today by clicking the link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
I'll say it took years. It wasn't an overnight process, right? Like,
Mhm, mhm.
I remember well, I don't remember ages, I'm old, so I don't remember.
Look, you lucky I remember your name. That's what I tell my kids.
Right. But I just remember after the after the bankruptcy and all of that, we were living in an apartment, and then I remember they started building I was living in, low income based houses or
Mhm,
whatever, and
mhm.
this is before the beauty bar. So I remember going to my kids, like, sitting them down, and I was like, "I just need y'all to give me 5 years." I was like, "I know we trying to figure it out. I know you don't see mommy all the time, but please just give me 5 years to figure this out and get us all back together." So, yeah. Was that the question?
That's no, but that was a good answer. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, no, it wasn't. Yeah, you answered it. It was a good answer.
Okay.
So, what support did you have um around that time where because you got three girls and they were young
Mhm.
girls, so how were you able to get through and make sure your girls were okay? I know it just wasn't you. What kind of support did you have?
So well, outside of child support, I had friends, but, like, I worked. I wasn't on food stamps, I wish I was, but I didn't get
Listen,
food stamps.
that is a blessing.
It's a blessing, and I listen, and I'm not gonna say I hate the people that get it because I do. I want I don't know, go back to the story because I wasn't just taking care of my kids, I was also taking care of my sister and her 3 kids, so yeah, so when I say I was working any and every job that I could find, I
Yeah.
was working and going to school, but I wasn't in the military anymore, but the military afforded me the opportunity to get paid while I was going to school. So I was getting money from the military and working, so that helped a lot too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about your sister circle, which I'm a part of.
Mhm. Yeah, you are.
But I did an episode
Mhm,
a couple what's I think it was the first season where we talked about the power of sisterhood
mhm,
and having people by you
mhm,
that really lift you up, that are there to support you, not just, financially and or
mhm,
watching the kids. It is
mhm,
the people that are there that just bring out the better side of you. They make you
mhm, mhm.
happy when you're around them. Tell me about your sister circle or, that support system for you.
Mm. So I have a group of friends. I feel like I don't like to call y'all my friends. I call y'all family because y'all have been more than just friends. Like when I was going through, Jesus, I got, I'll start with you because I feel like you have poured into me so much throughout this whole process. I remember doing hair and I remember you bringing me a dryer one day, which
I
I'm mad
sure
I can't.
did.
You did. And you was like, I just believe in you so much. And I know you don't see it right now, but I'm like, I don't see nothing right now.
That's right. That's right. I
And so it was,
absolutely believe.
yes, it was stuff like that. I remember getting a text from you and I think I still have that text in my old phone. You was like, I know you think you're alone, but God told me to tell you you're not alone. And you was crying and I
Girl,
was crying.
don't listen. I bought my tissue because I already know
Right.
you the
But
cry of the group, and I'm right
I
there
am
with
not,
you.
I am. I'm about to cry right now, but I'm not gonna cry. But it was stuff like that, like the people who I call my friends slash family, they really stood by my side. Like when I was just like, I don't know how this gonna happen. Like it was the encouraging words, it's the showing up to cry if you need. It was just all of
Yeah.
that that just kept me going.
That's amazing. That's
Mm.
there is nothing like family. Like you
Mhm.
said, the friends that become family. Family
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
what we call it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what did self-care look like for you during that time? I know you were busy.
Right. I can
What
tell
did
you what self-care what it looks like today.
come on?
In that process, I learned so much about myself, right? Like,
Yes,
I realized that you just can't put everything off because it's still gonna be there when you sit down and you pick it up.
that's right.
So, back then, it wasn't a whole lot of self-care, but for me, self-care is sometimes my friends know all the time, they say, "Oh, Nikki in the mood, she don't wanna be bothered." But I'll be like, "Oh, I don't wanna be bothered," so I'll stay in the house and watch TV all day. I'll literally lay in the bed and watch TV all day because 'cause I'm
Yeah,
still a busybody. I still don't know how to sit down.
right.
So,
Mhm.
that's what
Yep.
self-care I get my nails done, I do my own hair, but that's what self-care looks like to me, peace and
Yeah.
quiet.
Peace and quiet. I
Peace
like
and
that.
quiet. Mhm.
I like that. I always
Mhm.
say that peace is not necessarily the absence of
Mhm.
problems. It's just
Mhm.
it's being able to center yourself and focus. For me, it's
Mhm.
focusing on God, and that
Mhm.
centers me. And then that way, no
Absolutely.
matter what's going on, I have my sights on Him, and
Mhm.
that's how I I find peace. So
Mhm.
yes, so I know that there are two things that definitely come with the end of a relationship. So
Mhm.
first is grief, and
Mhm.
another is loneliness. Um,
Mhm.
Grief, number one, of course, because it's a death. It's
Mhm.
the end of that relationship, and you mourn what was, maybe
Mhm.
even mourn what could have been.
Mhm.
Also, there's loneliness because, there's an adjustment that you have to
Mhm.
make from going from, two people to just one.
Mhm.
Of course, when I'm not speaking of the girls, but you
Mhm.
go from being a couple of two people and then
Mhm.
down to just you, and having to adjust to that. So,
Mhm.
how did you deal with grief and loneliness during that time?
So, I'll say with grief, my grief was anger. I was so mad. I was mad with
Mhm,
the world, right?
mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I felt like I couldn't cry because I was so mad.
mhm,
But the loneliness of it all, I felt like I shut people out because all of my friends were married and I was the only single friend. So for a while, I wouldn't go anywhere with them. If they went on dates together, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to come. Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I don't want to come around y'all because I know it's gonna be all y'all hanging together. So for a while, I
Right.
isolated myself from everybody.
When we were getting ready, and we were talking about doing this interview,
Mhm,
you made a statement that I thought was so important to bring
mhm,
up. You said, I finally got to the point where I'm no longer embarrassed to talk about it.
mhm, mhm,
So that really stuck out to me because, there's a stigma of shame
mhm,
connected to divorce, especially with women.
mhm,
Some of us may be, embarrassed that, I failed at something.
mhm,
We take it on ourselves as to
mhm.
why, we're embarrassed about it. It's just a stigma. Why do you think that is? Why are people ashamed or embarrassed, by having that life experience?
So I'll say for me, it was embarrassing to even talk about it because I remember like being the single friend and being approached by people and it's
Mhm.
like, "You've been single for so long, you don't wanna be married," or I remember having somebody saying, "How could you have all of this without a man?"
Mhm.
Or, "What did you do that was so wrong in a relationship? You must have did something." So it was
Mhm.
like it was always my fault that something coulda went wrong
Yeah.
and never the other person's fault. So it was just embarrassing to
Yeah.
even have to say, yes, I went through this. Even with like the bankruptcy and the repo under the car, all of that, I felt like all of that happened to me and I have to deal with it.
Mhm.
And people are looking at you saying, well, what did you do? And how did you allow yourself
Mhm.
to get that way? So for a long time, I was embarrassed.
People love pointing a finger and blaming you
Yeah.
for stuff they
Mm-hmm.
don't have nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're not contributing to nothing.
Yeah,
They always have an
absolutely.
opinion about what someone else is doing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is something that is a part of when you're going through a divorce that you do have to deal with that with the opinions of others.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, knowing how to navigate through that and not letting their opinions affect you to the point where you don't know who you are. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
And for a long time, I didn't know who I was because I'm like, I just don't know what's happening right now. Like, how could this happen to me? Because I felt all of that weight of everybody talking about you, everybody looking at you.
Mhm.
You did this. You need to make better
Mhm.
choices. You
Yeah.
chose this person. So,
Yeah, yeah.
mm-hmm.
So sometimes when we go through things, it can be hard to see God in your situation,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So where were you at spiritually as far as your faith goes, when you were going through this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you have a relationship with God? And if you did, what did that do to that relationship?
I say for me in the beginning, it was on and off my relationship. Like I would get angry. People would be like, "Oh my God, your testimony is this, and it could help somebody," and I would get mad, and I'd be like, "I'm trying to help me right now. Like, why,
See, I ain't
why,
got no time to be
why,
testifying. I'm trying to swim.
right?" So my relationship with God then was on and off because I was angry with him too. I'm like, "You the one said that marriage is good. This is good." So.
Reality. Hold on. Let's park right there because that is such a good point. That is
Mhm,
such a good point that we get angry with God.
mhm. I was, yeah.
And that's real. That's real.
Mm.
What did that look like for you being angry with God? What
I wasn't going to church as often.
Mhm.
I wasn't praying. I wasn't reading. I wasn't doing nothing. I
Mhm.
wasn't. I I wasn't even talking to unless to say, "Why would you do this to me?"
Mhm. You know
Yeah.
what? I found for myself, because I've always looked at God as an authority figure, like,
Mhm.
like a parent,
Mhm.
where I wouldn't be disrespectful and say, "I'm not talking to you, I'm upset." But what I realize is
Mhm.
that when I do things like, "Oh, I don't feel like going to church today,"
Mhm.
and it becomes a pattern, or I start
Mhm.
doing things that I don't normally do, excuse me, I'm sorry. If I start doing things that I don't normally do, that I know are not who I am as
Mhm.
far as being in God, if I'm trying to think of something because I'm so goody two shoes.
No. Well, let me give you my example because
Yeah.
I went through a period like right after my divorce, and
Mhm.
it is something I have never told nobody but the club, like maybe one or two people. But I was so angry, I wanted to be numb. So I was popping pills, like drinking any kind of painkiller, any kind of drink that I could find, because I just didn't want to feel nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's real. That's
Mhm.
real. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't realize that you're angry at God. You just think
Mhm.
you're going through this moment. You're just having a moment.
Absolutely.
But I realized in that the same thing, like you said, well, okay, well, I wasn't popping pills, but same thing
Man, girl, I did. I
in,
know
in
street stuff though, because I'm saying
I
there
understand.
was a couple of painkillers in there.
But it's not what you would normally do.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's me getting into a character that is not mine. And I
Right.
realized that was my way of rebelling against God, even
Mhm.
though I didn't say, God, I'm mad at you, and
I
it was
said all of that. I
you
know
see,
he was sick of me.
but that's good though, because I had to grow into that kind of relationship. I
Mhm.
had to see that to see.
Mhm.
And this okay, we kind of going off on a on a tangent here, but I remember. Do you remember Mary had a TV show? They had a reality
Mhm.
show. So
Yeah, Tina.
yes, so Tina
Yes.
used to always go off. She was real
That was
quick.
me. I love her.
It was an episode where she was mad at what was going on. And then she went outside. She started yelling at God. She was like, "Now you
Mhm.
said this, and I'm upset, and here's what's going on." And I'm like, I didn't know we could talk to God like that.
I felt like I should be able to talk. You know me. You made me,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna talk to you just like because I'm mad with you right now. I'm
that's
not about to come to
good.
you in all peaches and cream. I'm upset, and I need
Upset.
you to do something.
That's real. That is real. And I love that. Once I figured that out, I said, oh my God, that's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. Now, where were we?
It's
Where
okay. That
we
was
going?
good. That was good.
I can't get it out because I'm so excited. So the question is,
Right.
what was it like? What was your relationship like with God? And I cut you off and I was
Mhm.
mad at God. Go ahead. What was next?
I said it was on and off, right?
Mhm.
I was mad, so like I wasn't going to church, I wasn't praying, I wasn't doing anything that I know that I should have been doing to help myself in that situation. I did the exact opposite. Like you said,
Mm.
it's like a kid, you're rebelling, like
Mhm.
I can't have my way. I wanted this, but you said well, this was good and it's not good. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered with you right now either. So
Mhm.
it wasn't there.
And I also find when I'm going through, I always question myself in whether
Hmm.
I'm good enough for God.
Hmm.
I question whether I'm saved enough.
Hmm.
And then I realize,
Listen,
I realize
let me tell
it
you.
ain't me. Oh, go ahead.
Because I used to always say, I'm doing this. I'm like, and I can't remember exactly what Pastor said, but it's like showing off for God. I'm living this way. I'm doing
Yes.
everything that you said I'm supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
you still let me go through this. Blaming
Yep.
God. When it was me, I chose that for myself.
So, I remember watching you go through the process, and
Mhm,
thinking how good of a mom you were during, of course, always, but during that time in particular, because as I said, you did what a lot of women have to do, and that was to pull
mhm,
yourself up and go and do
mhm.
what you need to do to take care of your kids.
Right.
As I said before, I seen you work at Waffle House and at Penny's, and at Penny's, this is one of
Mhm,
my favorite memories of you.
mhm.
And it's the story that you told me about what happened while you were working at Penny's. God sent a messenger to you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am. So it wasn't J.C. Penney's, it was Dillard's that happened.
Dillard's. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay,
Jason,
Dillard's.
this is where I started doing hair at, but I was at Dillard's and I was
Ah, I
trying
got you.
to figure out what I was supposed to do in life. I hadn't started the beauty bar then, right? Like I was literally doing any job that I can have. And I remember I was working in the men's department and this man, it was like it was just me and him. He just walked in, he looked at me, he walked back out. And then he came back in and he was like, can I pray for you? And
Mm,
at that time, right, I was so used to people walking up to me because I don't know, God would always speak to me through
mhm,
strangers.
mm,
So for him to do it, I was like, oh, okay, sure, you can pray for me. So he prayed for me. And once he stopped praying, before he started, he said, you know, you're not supposed to be here.
mm,
And I was
mm,
like, because I literally had just been praying to God, what am I supposed to do this place is not making me any money. Like, I'm never there for my kids. I'm struggling. Like, so he was like, you know, you're not supposed to be here. He said the 3 P's, purpose. I can't remember, but it was purpose something and something. But he
Okay.
pretty much told me, you know, you're not supposed to be here. You know what you're supposed to be doing. He was like, I'm not even supposed to be here right now. I didn't even come in here to buy nothing. I just was obedient to God and I came here and I didn't know who I was supposed to talk to until I saw you. But he pretty much told me that I wasn't supposed to be at Dillard's. I was working myself to death and I knew where I was supposed to be. And like, we was literally, I'm sitting there in the middle of Dillard's. It wasn't even closing time. I had just got to work, crying my eyes out.
Wow.
That man prayed for me, walked away, and I never saw him again.
Mm.
The next day, like, because it was still bothering me, I called up there while I was at work and I was like, I'm done. And I had a job in the hair salon, but immediately, as soon as I walked out, I was booked from that day on. Like, I had
Listen,
clients coming in. Yeah,
that is amazing. That is
yeah.
amazing. So that story touches me so much. It's one of
Mm,
my favorites because
mm,
it's where I can see God working
mhm,
on behalf of a friend. It wasn't
mhm,
even for me. It's
mhm,
God working on behalf of someone that I care about. And it
mhm,
was just confirmation for me that God sees. He sees us
mhm.
where we are. He's thinking of us. He's concerned about us. And you know, he has a plan for us. And
Absolutely.
he sent that man to find you and speak that word to you and not just plant a seed, but water the seed that was already in you because the seed was already there.
Mhm.
So I just thank you for sharing that story.
Let me tell you the craziest thing about that man, though, right?
Yeah.
He gave me a business card.
Oh
And I'm
gosh.
like, that he did. He told me his name. He gave me a business card. And when I looked up that man, I was like, that had to be an angel because I could never find that man nowhere. Like, I wanted to be able to find him. I could never find him.
Wow. Wow. And you can't find a card. And that's it. It
Mhm.
was just meant. It was just meant
Mhm.
him to meet you in that moment right
Yep.
there. Well, Nikki, you have found love again.
Finally.
Finally
Oh,
found love
yeah.
again. He seems like such a good guy. I really like him. He seems good for you and good
Mm,
to you. So amen for that.
mhm.
Tell me what it was it like getting back into the dating world?
Oh, I'll say this. I was scared.
Yeah. Wait, I just
I
want to say
was
they say it's pee in the
It's
dating pool.
pee in the dating pool. I remember when I first met him, I was like, "It's pee in the dating pool," and I don't wanna swim no more.
I don't want to do it.
I don't wanna swim. But it was tough, it was scary, but I think it was what I needed at the
Yeah.
time. It's I'll say this, when I met him, right, I was so used to doing my own thing, right?
Mhm.
Living how I wanted, being how I wanted, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Mhm.
And whoever I was dealing with, they just had to deal with that. I had a big thing for telling people, if you didn't do what I want, I bet. I
Deuces.
no, meaning whatever you think you're gonna do to me, I'm gonna do to you too.
Oh,
So
oh,
I was like,
gotcha, gotcha.
I bet. And I had never had a man be so patient with me and not just patient with me, but check me on that. And I was like, oh, you say you want to be in a relationship, but you doing the same thing. So if you're gonna actually be in a relationship, you gotta change some stuff. But
Wow.
not just that, when I met him, God told me, like, this one is different. You gonna have to change some ways. Like, I don't even argue, yell, nothing at the every time I want to, because I still like cuss words. I'm a cussing Christian. I still like cuss words. And every time I get upset, God be like, what I told you. And I be like, well, I get him.
Get him, not me.
Get him, not me. But I was also the type, y'all know me as the sensitive friend. I would
Mhm.
not cry. I would not do anything. And I remember crying one time in front of him. He was like, "What are you running away from?" He was like, "Let me be there for you. Let me be." And I'm like, "Are
Oh.
you serious?"
Well, that is awesome. I am rooting for him because I like him. I like him. He's good people. Good
God.
people. So, we're just about at our time. I really appreciate you coming and just spending time with us. And your story is one that is going to
Mm,
help other women, at least so they can see how you made it through. Because you're on the
mm,
other side of it now. You are successful, not
mm,
just financially. You are
mm,
successful in life, in love, in
mhm,
friendship. You're rich in all of that stuff. So,
mhm,
I appreciate your journey, and I definitely wanted to have you come on and share with the ladies about it. Just one more question. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to the woman that is going through the same thing that you've been through?
I think the best advice that I can give the woman that could be going through what I went through is that it's okay to feel in that moment. It's okay to say I'm angry. It's okay to say I'm mad. It's okay to say I'm hurt. But I would say don't try to hide. Don't be embarrassed because life happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But take that moment and find your strength in there. It may take forever, it may take years, but find your strength in that and don't look for it in somebody else. Find out who you are in that
I need
process.
a tambourine or a bell or something. Amen to that. Amen to that. Find yourself in you and be
Mm-hmm.
patient with yourself. How about
Mm-hmm.
that?
Give
Trust the pro-
yourself grace. Yes.
yeah, trust the process and be patient with yourself and give yourself grace.
Mm.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Nikki, I just want to thank you so much for coming on my show. We got to have you back on. We need to do a hair episode or something.
Yes, let's do
Uh,
that.
and have you back on as our expert. You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and that you learned something from it. Definitely meet us back next time for the next episode. All right. You all be encouraged, be empowered, and be blessed. Peace, y'all.